going on, guys? It's your boy Dylan the Villain coming back with you, as always, with some more Total Extreme Wrestling. It's been a while since we've recorded some WWF 1997. We're back at it. I booked some storylines and everything like that, and we're gonna keep going, moving forward. We took a little break. We took a little hiatus from this to recharge the batteries, to pretty much book some storylines moving forward, try to make some storylines make a little bit more sense and everything like that as we move forward here tonight. In the pre-show, this is the night after SummerSlam, one of our biggest pay-per-views of the save. I'm really proud of SummerSlam. We literally booked from WrestleMania to SummerSlam, and now we're trying to book from SummerSlam probably to Survivor Series. I got everything written out until Survivor Series, so hopefully we can record and get that ball moving and stuff like that. We've been doing the save for quite a while now, and I'm really proud of it, and I really don't want to just up and abandon the save, and I want to keep going, moving forward with it. Y'all seem to enjoy the save, and so I want to keep moving forward with it. I don't want to just give up on it and abandon it. But we do have more stories to tell moving forward. I want to try to get to WrestleMania, and probably once we get to WrestleMania is probably when, depending on how I feel and how y'all feel, we'll keep going, or we might end the save right here and do a new save once we get to WrestleMania. That might be 3 months from now. That might be a year from now. We never, I don't know what my recording schedule or when I have time to record like that. But we're going to keep moving forward. In a pre-show bout that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, the Hollies defeat the Godwins when Bob Holly pinned Phineas Godwin with a Falcon's Arrow. Bob Holly carried the match in terms of in-ring work performance. He sure did, with a 62, Crash with a 51, Henry O. Godwin with a 47, and Phineas O. Godwin with a 48. The Godwins have the tag team specialist bonus, and color commentary gave the match a boost. The match got a 59, not a 69, a 59. We are going to move on to our next pre-show matchup, and it is none other than Christian defeating Rick Martin by pinfall in H22. The match got a 57, not bad. Christian with a 61, and Ricky Martin with a 43. Christian, after Edge got hurt, Christian has been going solo and pretty much doing things on his own and picking up some wins, getting him some momentum. Christian might be in line for a title shot here in the future if he keeps getting the momentum and pushing for it like he is doing. He is doing excellent, and we're going to have to see what the future lies ahead for none other than Captain Charisma Christian. We're going to move on to the opening segment of the night, and we see Triple H, and he comes to the ring. The announcer says, "Ladies and gentlemen, introducing at this time your new World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H." And Triple H comes to the ring. He has a mic in his hand, and Triple H basically, he cuts a promo, and he's saying, for years, he's been here in the World Wrestling Federation, and for years, he's done everything he could to become a main event star here in the World Wrestling Federation, just to have the opportunity to be the World Heavyweight Champion. He was Intercontinental Champion. He vacated the title. Nobody beat him for the Intercontinental Championship. He was forced to vacate it just to have his opportunity, and he did not let down anything. He seized his opportunity. He went into the SummerSlam as King of the Ring, and he became the World Heavyweight Champion. And he says, for years, I've been in the shadows of one Shawn Michaels, and I thought I took care of Shawn Michaels, but last night after the match, he wanted to show his face back here in the World Wrestling Federation. I thought I sent him packing to WCW so he can go hang out with his buddies and do what they do best. But yet he shows back up here in the World Wrestling Federation thinking that he's first in line for my World Heavyweight Championship. I already beat you, Sean. I already proved that I'm better than you, and that it doesn't matter if you're the showstopper, the heartbreak kid, whatever you want to call yourself. The era of the game has begun. And it's my time. It's my time in the main event. Your time's over. Bret Hart's time's over. It is time for a new generation, a generation of attitude to step forward and lead this company to the promised lands in this Monday Night War. And I don't care if you boo me. I don't care if you cheer me. I don't care if you like me or you dislike me. I will prove to the world why I am the game and I'm that damn good. And at the time, Bret Hart comes out. And Bret Hart comes to the ring and goes, you know, it's great and all that you keep talking about how you're good and how you're the game and how you're the best in the world and how you're the best in this company. Well, I'm the best there is, best there was, and best there ever will be. And for the last 4 months, as I was World Wrestling Federation champion, I beat everybody that they put in my path. I beat guys like Shawn Michaels. I beat guys like The Undertaker. I beat guys like Steve Austin. I beat everybody that this company put me up against. Hell, I even defended my title in a fatal 4-way and walked out the winner. You know? And so I think that I am going to reinstate my rematch clause for our next pay-per-view. And at this time, Shawn Michaels comes out. And he goes, he comes out to the ring. And he goes, you know, I find it funny, Bret and Hunter, that y'all two talk about how y'all are the best in the company when you forgot about me. You forgot about Shawn Michaels. You forget about me. I already beat you. And he points at Bret Hart. And he's like, and you're beneath me. Your moniker, the best there is, best there was, and best there ever will be, is a joke. Because I beat you multiple times. And better yet, I beat you in a 30-minute Iron Man match for that championship title right there. And so if anybody's first in line, it's me. And if anybody's in the back of the line, Bret, it's you. And at this time, Undertaker's music hits. And he comes out. And Undertaker's, you know, as we've seen, the Undertaker has a new gimmick. He comes out riding his Harley. He comes around the ring. And he gets in the ring, and everybody's kind of like, what the hell is the Undertaker doing here? And he goes, you know, he gets a microphone, and he says, you know, for years I had to play this stupid gimmick to where I was a corpse, a dead man. And for years, I listened and respected Vince McMahon, and I stayed in the back and I did everything he said to do. Just hoping that all my hard work would pay off, and it never did. So I'm tired of sitting in the back waiting for my turn. He goes, y'all two had y'all's opportunities. Now it's time for the big dog to reclaim his yard. And at this time, Vince McMahon comes out to the ring, and he goes, hold on a second. He goes, y'all all make valid points of why y'all deserve to be the #1 contender for the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship, but we're having a big pay-per-view in England in 2 weeks. And I want to make sure our European fans, our British fans, has the biggest main event ever. I want this pay-per-view to be bigger than SummerSlam. I want this pay-per-view to be the European WrestleMania. I want people from Europe to want to come see the main event. And now a main event of a rematch of Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. That will be a big main event. A main event of Bret Hart versus Triple H would be a big main event. And a main event of The Undertaker versus versus Triple H would be a big main event. Y'all all make claims to be the number one contender, but from what I've seen, none of y'all deserve to be number one contender. So tonight, 2 weeks away to our biggest pay-per-view in Europe for our European fans. Tonight we are going to have a pay-per-view level main event. Y'all three men want to be the number one contender so bad. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have a triple threat match. We're going to have Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart versus The Undertaker. And the winner of that match will face Triple H at our next pay-per-view in England. And the crowd just goes erratic. And Undertaker kind of sits there. He's just like, cracks his knuckles. He's like, oh yeah, I'm about to beat the hell out of them. And Bret Hart kind of looks around. You know, Bret Hart's, lately he's not really been the Bret Hart that we grew up with and loved. He's kind of been cocky and arrogant and using underhand tactics to win. And Shawn Michaels, you know, seeing who he has to go up against, Shawn Michaels kind of, he doesn't look too worried, but he knows he's going to have one hell of a night here tonight. So our main event is going to be Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart versus The Undertaker, with the winner receiving a World Heavyweight Championship title match at our next pay-per-view in England. Semi got a 95. I was hoping it would do a little bit better, but 95, we'll work with that. It advances to My Time storyline and it gains heat. The Broken Heart storyline automatically advances. Shawn Michaels' performance was good. Triple H looked excellent. Bret Hart was the real stars. Triple H did great without a script. Good job, Triple H, getting better at promos. Bret Hart did a good job. Nelson color commentary gave the match a boost. Shawn Michaels benefited from having a hot catchphrase. So did Triple H. So did Bret the Hitman Hart. And Triple H benefited from having fan support. We are going to move on to the next segment. And it is our opening contest in a terrible match. APA beat the holy shit out of the Headbangers when Bradshaw submitted Thrasher. In terms, Farouk carried the match in ring work. The match got a 68. Farouk with an 84. Bradshaw with a 58. Thrasher and Mosh both in the 30s. Thrasher with a 39 and Mosh with a 36. Farouk and Bradshaw have the tag team specialists along with Mosh and Thrasher. Color commentary gave the match a boost and Farouk's performance stood out. But we are going to move on to our next segment. And it's Vince and Shane McMahon. And they're standing backstage. And they go, ladies and gentlemen, with our big pay-per-view coming up and our roster of young talent trying to make a name for themselves here in the World Wrestling Federation, me and Shane sat and thought long and hard, and we decided that we will make a title, a brand new championship that will debut in England at our European pay-per-view as we fixing to go on tour in Europe next week. We are going to introduce the European title. We have 8 men who we handpicked, who we believe to be the future of the World Wrestling Federation. We have guys like Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, Ken Shamrock, Ahmed Johnson, and Ultimo Dragon Christian are 6 of the names, along with England's own Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. And our last pick, we are still deciding, but they will be wrestling in the qualifying matches in the upcoming weeks. And the first match will be Jeff Jarrett versus Mark Marrow. So I guess the last name is Mark Marrow. Will be up along with Davey Boy Smith versus Ahmed Johnson here tonight, with the winners moving on to the Final Four, with the 2 winners facing each other at the pay-per-view. I hope y'all enjoy this tournament that we have, and we will be seeing y'all on Shotgun Saturday Night live from England. Thank y'all and have a wonderful night. Blah, 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 blah. So we're going to move on to the first matchup, which is Double J taking on Mark Marrow. And Double J picks up the win against Mark Marrow by submission with a figure 4 leg rock. The match got a 76. Double J Jeff Jarrett got a 78. And Mark Marrow got a 58. Mark Mero seemed off his game. Sable did great ring work, and Double J and Deborah have great chemistry. Announcing color commentary gave the match a boost. The last time we seen Jeff Jarrett, he was on somewhat of a win streak as he picked up a new manager, Deborah, and he said he's going to the top of the World Wrestling Federation with his new manager. Will that success continue in this tournament? We will have to find out as we go on to our next segment. Double J Jeff Jarrett advances in the European title tournament. We get an interview with Davey Boy Smith with Michael Cole. The segment got a 72. Should have known better than to let Davey Boy Smith talk. But he has an interview with Michael Cole. Davey Boy Smith's match is up next against Ahmed Johnson. And Davey Boy Smith, Michael Cole's like, Davey, this is a huge honor for you to be in this tournament and to become the first European champion here in the World Wrestling Federation. New title that is introduced. I know that you would love to win that title in your hometown, in your home country of England. Do you have anything to say? And as Davey goes to say, Scott Steiner walks in and he just grabs the mic from Michael Cole and he's just like, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Cole. I appreciate that. You see, when they announced that Scott Steiner, the big bad booty daddy, was going to be in this tournament, everybody knew that I was already going to win. And that I was going to make it to the finals. And I was going to win this new championship title in England. And Davey Boy's kind of like standing in the back like, what the hell? And he's just like, sorry that I cut you off, but I got to speak to all my pimps and to all my geeks and freaks out there because they know the big baddie booty daddy already won this tournament. And there's nothing finer than Scotty Steiner. And when I win that European title, all the girls will be screaming my name while I lay my opponent in the middle of the ring and on his back, lying in pain. So, Davey, I got great respect for you, brother, and I wish you the best of luck tonight. But everybody knows that you ain't gonna win if you gotta go against Scott Steiner. And Davey kind of just stands there and he's just like, we'll see about that. So we go on to our next segment, which is Davey Boy versus Ahmed, and of course Davey Boy wins with a running power slam. Ahmed Johnson, I believe I said this in a previous episode, is pretty much on his way out of the WWF. He doesn't get along with anybody, and he's causing problems. So I'm pretty much letting his contract run out. In a good match, Davey Boy Smith defeats Ahmed with a running power slam. We were going to push Ahmed. We were going to give Ahmed a story and push him, and then he ended up getting in a fight backstage, getting beat up. Also, he ended up losing the fight. Started the fight and ended up losing the fight, and and I was just like, well, I don't need that in my backstage. He's the only one causing problems too, oddly enough. So we're going to get rid of Ahmed when the time comes. I've thought about sending him to developmental, but his popularity is just good enough to help me get over some people. So we're going to use Ahmed as an enhancement for time moving forward until his contract is up. Davey Boy beats Ahmed. Match got a 77. Davey Boy with a 93 and Ahmed with a 65. Davey Boy Smith, shocker, advances in the European title tournament. We go backstage. In this segment, we go backstage and we see The Rock. And as we know, The Rock helped Chris Jericho beat Stone Cold Steve Austin at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. The Rock has teamed up with Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon. As we know, The Rock is dating Stephanie McMahon. Maybe that has to do with it. We go backstage, and The Rock, he seems upset. He seems a little frustrated. And The Rock's basically like, I thought, what is this that you're giving these three jabronis a championship opportunity at the next pay-per-view? What? I thought you said if I help you take care of your problem with Steve Austin, that you were going to name me the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. Vince is like, Rock, calm down. We have to get through this English pay-per-view first before we get to the pay-per-view that matters. And The Rock kind of just stands there and he's just like, but you said that if I do this favor for you, that you were going to name me number one contender. And Shane's just like, calm down, Rock. You're going to get your opportunity. You're going to get your opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship. You know, and Vince is like, we have big plans. You know, y'all two, I see as the future of the World Wrestling Federation. Chris Jericho, the best in the world. The Rock, the youngest, most electrifying sports entertainer that we have here in the World Wrestling Federation. Y'all two have a very bright future here in the World Wrestling Federation. Y'all two have everything that I'm looking for in a superstar. Unlike that beer-drinking, cussing, redneck Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'm a man of my word, and I will keep my promises. But after the pay-per-view, after we get through this pay-per-view, you will be number one contender for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. So in the meantime, just relax and enjoy your time off. And The Rock kind of just stands there and he's just like, you know, he's getting aggravated and he's just like, right. And he leaves and Chris Jericho's standing there and, you know, with the Intercontinental Championship, and he's all smiling, and seems like him and Vince and Shane are talking about something. And The Rock leaves the office. Stephanie's outside, and she seems to be crying. And Rock's like, what's the matter? And she's just like, nothing. Rock's like, no, talk to me. What's wrong? And she's just like, she's like, I just don't want to talk about it right now. I hope that you actually mean everything that you tell me when we're out on town and going on dates. Rock's like, of course, you know, I care about you, Stephanie, and I do like you. And Stephanie's like, but do you love me? Rock's like, well, I know that I have a very deep regard for you. Stephanie's like, she kind of puts her head down and she's just like, right. Well, I hope that my dad keeps his word, making you the number one contender for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, and I hope he keeps his word, and that you're able to be in the main event and win the championship and become the superstar that I know that you can become, Dwayne. And The Rock kind of looks at her sideways and, Dwayne? She goes, yeah, that's your name, right, Dwayne? And The Rock's like, look, The Rock only wants to be called The Rock, okay? When we're out in public, you can call me whatever you want to, but when The Rock is in the World Wrestling Federation on live here on Monday Night Raw, The Rock wants to be known as The Rock. Because The Rock is in the Rock mode. And Stephanie kind of like looks at him like, wow, okay. She's like, all right, sorry, Rock. But she's like, anyway, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Rock's like, yeah. And The Rock leaves. And Stephanie and The Rock go their separate ways, and they leave. It looks like there's a little bit of tension building up between Stephanie McMahon and The Rock. Stephanie's kind of second guessing on why The Rock is even dating her, or why The Rock wanted to start dating her. We are going to have to see here. The segment got a 100. We are going to move on to our next segment. Basically, Vince promised The Rock that if he helps take out Steve Austin, that The Rock will be the number one contender for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. We are going to move on to our next segment, which I believe is our main event, if I'm not mistaken. No, it is not. It is not our main event. We have a segment with the Flock. You see Raven, Mick Foley, Jeff Jarrett, and Matt Hardy. As we know, Raven came from ECW, basically wanting the Hardcore Championship, saying that hardcore wrestling is barbaric, it's garbage. The fans who like blood and violence are idiotic and barbaric themselves. And he convinced the Hardys and he convinced Mick Foley to join his side. But as we know, the Big Show reclaimed the hardcore title at SummerSlam, beating Raven and reclaiming the hardcore championship. And Raven does not seem too happy. We go backstage and we see Raven, and he cuts a promo and he's talking about how, you know, he deserves to be the hardcore champion. That he can't put an end to the hardcore division if he isn't the champion. That he can't take the title and destroy the championship before it's too late. That you have guys like the Big Show going around and choke slamming people through tables and stuff. And then he turns his attention to Mick Foley, and he starts blaming Mick Foley for everything. And he goes, you know, if it wasn't for you bringing hardcore wrestling to America, if it wasn't for you popularizing it along with your friend Terry Funk, if it wasn't for you doing all this, and basically Raven's saying, like, if it wasn't for you, then hardcore wrestling wouldn't exist, you know? It was you who brung it to America and popularized it. It was you putting your body on the line in WCW and ECW that made fans want to see all the blood and violence. And Mick's kind of looks like, yeah, but, you know, I learned the error of my ways and I turned my back on it. And Raven's just like, I don't think you have. I don't think you have, Mick. I think deep down inside, you love the violence. You love the pain. You can't hide Cactus Jack from everybody forever. Deep down inside, Cactus is calling out. Cactus wants to come out. Cactus wants to be wrapped in barbed wire. Cactus wants to be hit in the back with flaming 2x4s. Cactus wants to be tossed off of things. Cactus wants to put his body on the line. So me and the Hardys, we have talked and we decided that this is best for everybody. And all of a sudden the Hardys just hit Mick Foley in the back of the head with a chair, and they start just beating the hell out of Mick Foley. And then they see a dumpster and they pick Mick Foley up and they throw him in the dumpster. As Raven laughs and he does the Raven pose and Raven walks off. Raven kicks Mick Foley out of the flock, and Raven's basically kicked him out. Where is this going to lead? We don't know. We are going to have to tune in to find out where this is going on and why he believes that. I mean, Mick Foley has been nothing but loyal to Raven. But Raven still believes that Cactus is still trying to come out. That the match that Mick Foley had with the Big Show, that Mick Foley enjoyed it a little bit too much. And enjoyed that hardcore match just a little bit too much. And Raven's worried that Cactus is going to come out. But they beat Mick Foley up to a bloody pulp and throw him in the trash can as they walk off and go their separate ways. We are going to have to stay tuned to find out what's going on with that. We're going to move on to the next segment, which I believe is the main event. It is not the main event. I am so sorry. We have a light heavyweight championship match here tonight. As we know, Eddie Guerrero defeated Rob Van Dam for the light heavyweight championship at SummerSlam, and he defends it against his long-term friend Dean Malenko. They have a masterclass match at 89. Hell yeah. That's all I can say. That's a banger of a match for these two men. Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko. Eddie Guerrero picks up the win with a frog splash. Eddie Guerrero makes defense number 1 of the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship. Eddie Guerrero with 88, Dean Malenko with 84. The Camp Cornette storyline advances. We get an 89. I forgot I even booked this match tonight. We are going to move on to the next segment, and we see Jim Cornette come out with Rob Van Dam and Steve Corino. And Cornette grabs the mic and he says, Eddie, you got lucky at SummerSlam, defeating my client, Rob Van Dam. You got lucky. And that's all it was, is luck. You see, in 2 weeks, at our European Bash, Rob Van Dam wants his rematch for that light heavyweight championship. Because we all know that Rob Van Dam is Mr. Monday Night. Rob Van Dam is the whole fucking show, and Rob Van Dam is Mr. Pay-Per-View. And there's nobody in the light heavyweight division that can hold a candle to Rob Van Dam, and I think it's a disgrace that you are even the WWF light heavyweight champion. You already got thrown out of the match before. Took it out because you had to deal with your quote-unquote personal problems, but we all know what demons you hide, Eddie. And we all know that those demons are going to sneak back up on you once again and find you. And then this time, Eddie, you won't be sitting home for 30 days. You'll be in the unemployment line where you belong. So hold that title real close, Eddie, and enjoy your moment in the sun, because in 2 weeks, if you didn't screw up again, Rob Van Dam is going to give you a reality check of a lifetime, buddy. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And Jim Cornette drops the microphone, and they go backstage. We go to commercial break, and it is now time for our main event. And in an unbelievable match that got a 96, that's pay-per-view level match right there. That is a pay-per-view level match. Shawn Michaels defeats Bret Hart and The Undertaker when Shawn Michaels pins Bret Hart after a Sweet Chin Music, after a distraction from Kurt Angle. During the match, Kurt Angle also ran in and attacked Bret the Hitman Hart. Basically, Undertaker, he ends up getting hit with a Sweet Chin Music, rolling to the outside. It becomes Bret and Shawn for a while. And then Kurt Angle basically distracts Bret Hart and cost them the match. Kurt Angle stands there as the referee counts to 3. Referee kind of looks at Kurt, and after the match, Kurt just goes on to the ankle lock. We have referees and security just come down to the ring and break it up as Bret Hart hightails it to the back as they try to keep Kurt from attacking Bret again. As we know, Kurt Angle beat Owen Hart at the pay-per-view, and now his sights are set on Bret the Hitman Hart. Kurt Angle not too pleased with the Hart family. As we know, it was all a ruse. It was all a ruse. Owen Hart teaming up with Kurt, basically acting like he wants revenge against Bret from all the promises that Bret promised Owen. And it was all a ruse. It was all a it was all a swerve. It was a big swerve. Bret and Owen were in cahoots the whole time. And they pulled a fast one on Kurt Angle to keep him out of the match. And Kurt's not too pleased about it. And he wants his revenge. After the match, we see Triple H backstage watching the TV with his World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship on his shoulder. And he looks down at it, and he looks back at the TV as Shawn Michaels celebrates in the ring, and he smiles. He shakes his head and smiles, and he kind of just laughs a little bit, like, here we go again, type thing. As Triple H is watching the TV, we hear a commotion backstage, and it's Bret Hart, and he's yelling and screaming, cussing, and he's like, and we see Owen and Jim, and Bret kicks open his locker room door, the Hart Foundation locker room, as cameras try to follow him, and all you hear is Bret just cussing, where the hell were y'all? Y'all were supposed to have my back. Where the hell were y'all? Where the hell were y'all? Like y'all were supposed to have my back. As we fade to black, and Monday Night Raw is War comes to an end. We finished the show. The show got a 96. That increases our popularity in 33 regions. Could have increased our popularity in Canada, but we need a better TV deal in Canada. That's really what we need. We're going to finish the show. That is one hell of a show with one hell of a... The Eddie and Dean Malenko match really surprised me on the rating. I didn't think it was going to get that high. An 89. Wowee. I mean, I expected big things from the main event, but Eddie and Dean, they really did it. I have some decisions here, and I have some mail, but we are going to check that off screen. We got a 96 for Monday Night Raw. My bad. My apologies. And WCW got a 75 with the main event being Scott Hall taking on the Barbarian. Ric Flair taking on Scott Norton. Not a really good WCW Nitro, if you want to be honest. But again, that's the game book and the thing and stuff like that. But we are going to be headed to England, and we are going to be doing a European tour. I'm going to go ahead and save the game. Thank y'all for watching, guys. Thank y'all for liking the video. For those of y'all do like the video, it helps us out a ton. It gets more eyes on the save and helps the channel out a lot. Share it with friends who like professional wrestling or likes TEW. Share it. Try to get more eyes on it for, and if you enjoy it, share it, man. Share what you love with people, and try to get more eyes on everything like that. Thank y'all for watching, like I already said. Thank y'all for liking the video. Thank y'all for commenting down below. I read everybody's comment, and I get back to y'all ASAP. As soon as I possibly can. Sometimes, as soon as you post it, I get a notification saying that y'all post on it, and I comment right back. I love talking to y'all. I like knowing how y'all feel about things. It pretty much gives me a direction of what storylines y'all like and what storylines y'all don't like. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for liking. Thank y'all for commenting down below. If you're new to the channel and like what you see and want to subscribe, the subscribe icon will be on the Monday Night Raw logo. If you like this episode and want to go back and watch previous episodes, the playlist will be over last night results. And if you're looking for something a little bit more extreme, our ECW save is right here. It is ECW in 2001. What if ECW became the developmental territory of the World Wrestling Federation in the year 1991? That save is awesome. I'm having fun booking that. If you want to check that out, that playlist will be right here. My name's Dylan Villain, guys. And like we always say here at Pro Am Gaming, if you can't play with each other, do what I do and do what I'm doing right now and play with yourself. See y'all on the next one.